Thank you.
Okay, is my screen visible to you?
Yes, it is.
So we are going to start with requirement gathering. Okay. So what are the contents of the requirement gathering? What is the purpose of requirement gathering? What are the key types of requirement? What are the sources of requirement? What are the techniques for gathering requirement? What are the questions to ask stakeholders? What are the tools and templates and best practices? Okay. So the purpose of requirement gathering is to collect, clarify, and document the needs and expectation of the stakeholder to ensure successful solution design and delivery. Okay. So there are so many different stakeholders are there, like business owners, consumer, employee, partners, sponsor, okay, product manager. So how we are going to define who all are stakeholder or who are not stakeholder. So if I'm asking that in other company, any marketing team is our stakeholder is there or not? Okay, so how we are going to define that they are stakeholder or not? So the stakeholder means someone who is going to be affected by the product or services providing within the company. Okay. So whatever the company is providing product or services, whenever they going to make any changes in product or services, so those who are going to affect of that particular product and services are the stakeholder. So let's suppose I have changed something in current product. Okay. And the product is, let's suppose there is a traveling app and I have make any changes. So who all are going to affect? Consumer who are going and the partners who haven't who have invested in those apps and consumer employees who are working in there, because let's suppose how employees are going to affect. Let's suppose after having the changes our consumer won't able to access in those app and they won't able to they just uninstalled, okay, of that particular app. So company is going to the loss and after having a loss, company won't able to pay to the employees, right? So employees is also going to be affected. So they all are the stakeholder. Managers and whoever is going to affect, they all are the stakeholder. So to collect, clarify and document the needs, expectation of stakeholder to ensure successful solution design and delivery. And key types of requirement is business requirement, stakeholder requirement, functional requirement, non-functional requirement, and transition requirement. So the business requirement is to survive any business. What are the requirement of the business? So they must have a revenue sources. Okay, different revenue sources. So the company can survive. Okay. And also there should be a profitable businesses. So they must having they must having a profit in particular businesses. So that are the requirement of the business, that in a business there should be a proper revenue and profit and less cost. Whatever the business is paying for particular product and services, the cost should be maintained, that not to be much high. So there are so many requirements are coming from the businesses. So there are the high level goal of the organization or project. Let's suppose business want to reach within 5 years, he want to increase the revenue from 5 crore to 50 crore. So this is the requirement of businesses. Okay, so just give me a second. Okay, so we have covered the business requirement, high level goals of the organization or project. And now we are coming to the stakeholder requirement. Stakeholder requirement is something need of stakeholder that align with business goals. Okay, so whatever the needs of stakeholder, let's suppose any employee who is working on the system, okay, and he might facing any problem with those system. Okay, so the employees will share their needs, and business analyst will gather all the requirement from the employees. And because why we are taking the requirement from the employees, because after simplifying their work, their output can be enhanced. Okay, so output result will improve, and if the output result will improve, the business revenue and profit will also definitely going to be increased. So that's why we are taking the requirement from the stakeholder, and that should be aligned with business goal. Okay. Functional requirement is something that we are going to add something features or system. Okay. Specific system, behavior, features, or function. So let's suppose we have a traveling app and we have add the gaming features just to our consumer can also play game in our traveling app, and they can make the group partners. Okay, so they are the functional requirement which you are adding the systems and the features and functional, that is called the functional requirement. In non-functional requirement is that we can check the performance, security, usability, and compliance need, which is not directly proportionate to the system or features. It's totally depend upon the performance. Let's suppose I have added the gamification features in traveling app. So is we have retained the consumer for a longer period of time or not? So we can see through the performance. Okay. And whatever we have added the feature, we are following the proper compliance or not. So these are the non-functional requirement. Okay. And the transition requirement is temporary capabilities for transitioning to the new system. So whenever we feel that in the current state of the business is not having a proper system, or having a system but not much more useful, so what we are going to do it, we are going to provide a transitional to the new system. Means we are not adding the system, we are just transforming to the another new system. Okay, we just replacing the current system with the new system. So the sources of requirement are stakeholder interview. So how you are going to gather the requirement from the stakeholder? So there are different sources. You can take the stakeholder interview. You can also take the workshop brainstorming session. You can take the surveys and questionnaire through Google Form, or Microsoft Form is also there. Okay. And document analysis, SOPs, report, legacy system document. So document analysis is something that companies have their own document about their rules and regulations, about their goals, about their visions, missions. Okay. So after reading the document analysis and the process observation, that in that particular business, what are the process of delegating the work? What is the hierarchy? Okay, so that is the process observation, job shadowing, and the prototype and mockups. What are the prototype and mockups of system? Okay, and the market and regulatory research. So we can also have the research, market research and analysis, and regulatory research. Regulatory means it covers all the laws, okay, rules and regulations related to the legal. So we can gather the requirement from everywhere, whether it is prototype or whether it's process. This all are the different sources. Now, what are the technique for gathering requirement? So technique is interview, workshop, use cases and user story, process mapping, brainstorming and document analysis. So you might know about the interview workshop, but what is the difference between use cases and user story? Okay. So use cases and user story is something that how the different people going to use the same app. Let's suppose an administrator of the same app is having the different cases, means different uses of that particular app. The administrator will check that in today basis how many consumer has signed up in the particular app, and what the information they have to send through mail to that particular user. So administrator have so different different agenda of using that particular app. And the same point, the consumer have the different workflows. Means first they will open the app, then they will sign up, then they will go to the front page, and they will check what are the services and they will apply for that particular services. Okay. So there are different use cases or different user story is about user centric requirement definitions. So what are the techniques? So let's suppose we can go to the consumer and we can ask that is it simplify whenever you are going to sign up and whenever you are paying something, or whenever you look different services and you might like those services, and then you are going to the payment feature and then you did the payment in this duration, any any issue you have, any challenges you might face, or any complexity arrive. So the consumer will share their own requirement and we have to gather all the requirement from the user point of view. Okay. So it help to know design solution and make the simplicity. Okay. Process mapping is something visualizing current and future workflow. So we have to visualizing our current workflow, and whenever we provide the solution we are going to make a future workflow. Brainstorming is generating innovative ideas. Document analysis is something we are understanding existing system and gaps. Questions to ask stakeholder. So what are the questions to ask the stakeholder? Yes. So there are the different questions we can ask to the stakeholder. Are what is the main goal of the project? Okay. So in the business context, as the business requirement, we can take the requirement from the business that what are the business goals? Okay. And currently what kind of problem uh, they might facing? Okay. What are the challenges they are facing during the businesses? And what business are we solving and who are the end users? So who all are the end user? Just give me a second. Yeah.
Yes.
So what are the main goal of the project and what business problem are we solving and who all are the end user? So what does mean the end user? End user are someone who is talking about the consumer only. Okay, consumer point of view. Because at the end the business is providing product or services, and that product and services are utilized by the someone consumer. So that are the end user. And the current state is something what processes or system are currently in use. Okay, current state is something we are analyzing whole current status of that particular business, whether what process or system are currently in use and what's working well and what's not. So there are known bottlenecks or pain points. So after analyzing the current state, we have to find the desired outcome. What does success look like for you and what features or improvement are must have versus nice to have. So there are different features to improve the particular system. Okay. So the to improve those features, we might have two decision: must have versus nice to have. Okay. So in must have and nice to have, we should prioritize ourselves towards the first must have. Then we can, after completing and providing those services, providing those solutions of fulfilling the must have features, then we can come to the nice to have. Okay. And after this, what are the constraints and dependencies? So are there any regulatory, technical, or timeline constraints? Are there dependencies on other team or system? So what does it mean by the constraint and dependencies? So constraints mean a limitation. Okay. What kind of limitations we have? So let's suppose you just analyze whole current state part. Okay. You gather all the requirement. After gathering the requirement, you design the proper solution. Okay. And after designing whole solution, you just made the BRD document and you just given the approval, taken the approval. But when you are providing those solution, there are some part of the limitation. Is it, let's suppose you have just going to deliver those solution or implementation plan, you have just given to the stakeholder that we are going to implement this solution part within 2 months. Okay. But the limitation is that the deliverables can be extended to 3 months or 6 months. So that are the constraint. It may be a timeline constraint, it may be a regulatory, or maybe we have did something which is against the rules and regulations, against the legal compliance. Or let's suppose we did something that is, you know, didn't cover all the technical system part. So there are so many limitation, constraint, and dependencies are there. Okay. And also we are dependencies on other teams. So let's suppose I got one project, and in that my client said that I need 100 client per month. Okay. I want to develop my business. So for that, I need 100 client per month. So for that, I have given the solution of building a proper CRM system and ERP system. CRM system is for marketing and sales team, and ERP is for uh, finance team, HR team. Okay, these two system I have given the solution, and I also given the solution that I am going to provide a marketing team also, sales team also for that. Okay, so we are depending on the other teams like marketing team and sales team. And let's suppose I have fulfilled the CRM system and ERP system, but the marketing team is providing, is generating leads and giving a good output, but the sales team is not performing well. Okay, so that all are the constraint and dependencies, that we are also dependent on the teams also, apart from the system. So what are the tools and template? So BRD, business requirement document, FRD, function requirement document. So as a business analyst, we have to use different tools and template while practicing business analysis. So the first is business requirement document, second is functional requirement document, third is use cases template, and fourth one is requirement traceability matrix, fifth one is user story cards, six is Visio, Lucidchart, Draw.io for uh, process flow, and Jira, Trello for capturing and tracking requirement. Okay. So the BRD document, how we are going to make a BRD document, functional requirement document, use cases template, and this all template I'm going to describe much more detail in a upcoming session. Okay. And the best practices. will be involve all key stakeholder early, clarify ambiguous statement, easy to use, define matrices, prioritize requirement, Moscow must, should, could, won't. Okay, so this is the framework of prioritizing anyone. So first we are going to with must have, that it's after completing after prioritizing the must have, then we have to go with should have, then could have, and then it could be a won't have. We won't have, it's coming like if you are putting feature or you are not putting feature, it's the output will be the same. And could will be it can give the output, but there is not much requirement of that particular feature. But must and should have can give a very good output, so that's why we have listed must and should. Okay, validate, and you have to always validate with all different stakeholder that the particular requirement is valid or not. Means if you are fulfilling any requirement and you are giving the solution, so you have to validate that particular solution with the stakeholder, and the get sign off. Okay, keep the document up to date and version control. Okay, and now we are going to the business analysis template. So we can see here BRD template. In BRD template, first is coming executive summary. So you have to give a summarization of what kind of problem the business is facing right now. Okay, what is the current state? You have to just summarize the current state. And you have to just write the business objective. What are the business objective? Let's suppose business objective want uh, to install the CRM software and ERP software. So these are the business objective. The project scope. Scope will be a broad and narrow type. Like broad having a ERP, CRM, and in narrow type in CRM, what kind of feature we can integrate with. Okay, so CRM we can also integrate with Salesforce system, or we can add with the integrate with the website. So it come under the project scope. Stakeholders are who all are the stakeholder you have to write. Each and every stakeholder involved in this business requirement. Uh, Whoever the requirement you have gathered, you have to write the name of the stakeholder. The current state overview for future state and the business requirement, and BR1 requirement name description. So after mentioning the current state, you have to design you are providing full solution with this strategy, future state, that how the future state look like. In the future state, the client will have whoever the business owner given the requirement of having the 100 client. So I will write that within a month you have 100 client and all, and how we are going to generate leads, everything, the future state we are going to represent. And the business requirement is BR1 requirement name description, assumption and constraint, risk approval. So whatever the risk we have, the time duration limitations and part, the constraint. Okay. So the risk is might be, we are providing marketing and sales team, but we are not providing a business analysis team who are going to work with the strategy. Okay. So there is the risk, or there are so many different risks may appear, and you have to take the approval sign off. So these all are the template of BRT. Okay. And in depth, I will share in the upcoming session. And the FRD is functional requirement document, means what kind of system or feature you are going to add. The purpose, scope, and FR1 non-functional requirement, system interfaces, user roles, and permission. So user roles are different, administrator roles are different, and consumer roles are different. And yeah, so the user roles and permissions are different. Acceptance criteria, glossary. So the in user roles, they're also coming like, in this travel agency app, there administrator one, there is consumer one, there may be a travel agent. They are also the user. So the consumer is assigned to different travel agent. So travel agent are also coming in the roles. Okay. So acceptance criteria, glossary. And the user case template, you have to mention the use case ID. Use case ID means consumer, travel agent, administrator. Use case name, you can write actors. Actors are something that they are going to act on that particular app. How they are going to act means first they will open the app, then with where they will going to click, they will mention all the procedure, all the workflows. Like first they are going to sign up, and after sign up they will see all the services, and whichever services they like, they will go to the um, overview services. Then they will click overview services and they will read in detailed everything. Then they will click on the pay now button. Then they will click the pay now button, and they will then it will ask about paying through credit card or debit card, or there are a lot of different methods for paying. So after you paying, after payment done, then the mail will get okay to the user. So there are different action workflows is mentioned through actors, and the description, precondition, post condition, user does, system respond with why. So how you user will done and how the system will respond. Okay, so when user click to the particular button, then how system going to act, what the system going to respond, alternate flows, exceptions, assumptions, business rule. And the story point is epic sprint. And so the sprint is something that, let's suppose we have to build a ERP and CRM software. So the prioritization is CRM software. Okay. So in the CRM, the first sprint is to only build CRM within 3 months. And the another sprint is that another 3 month we are going to build ERP. Okay, ERP software. So there is a sprint. Okay. And to make a proper process flow diagram, we can use a Visio, Lucid Chart, Draw.io. Okay, so we are going to work on this particular tool. Okay. And okay, so we are ending this presentation. Okay.